See at the party, Richter.
Welcome to See You at the Party, Richter. I'm Aaron Frescus, and with me as always are my lovely co-hosts, Joseph Beck Castro and Chris Chapman. And in this episode, we'll be finishing up the summary for Arnold's most recent entry in the Terminator franchise, 2019's Terminator Dark Fate. All right, let's get back into it. So I guess take it away, Chris.
So, now we cut to an American Border Patrol compound. The Terminator shows up to murder that stupid asshole Terrence. And since he's already there, he also decides to use their surveillance equipment to locate Danny.
Stupid asshole Terrence.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, was that when he's just,
Terrence.
stabbing people and then,
Yeah, that's the guy who talks shit to... He's disguised as the female
and, he's
Border Patrol officer.
There's obvious, stabbing, gushing noises and the guy's groaning and the two other guys don't turn around.
Yeah, the two guys at the computer just do not give a fuck.
Yeah.
They're in the zone, man. We've all been there.
Either that or they just really fucking hate Terrence.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody fucking hates Terrence. You'll notice the other guy did not immediately scream or say anything. He was like, yeah, he had it coming.
He's like, wait, why are you stabbing me too? Why are you stabbing me too?
There was one of my
We
favorite...
were cool. Exactly.
It was one of my favorite lines in the movie where she comes in and like, oh, I didn't bring donuts. She's like, shut the fuck up, Terrence.
Yeah. And then just stabs him.
Yeah,
just
delivery is
brutally
great on
kills him. It's great. Anyway, so he's using all this equipment to locate where they are and finds them, out there walking towards wherever they're going to cross the border. As Grace notices the drone that spotted them, the Terminator notifies Border Patrol of their destination and claims that they are members of a cartel. When they officially cross the border, actually go under the wall and come back up on the other side, they find the Border Patrol waiting for them. As everyone is being detained, the Terminator tries to suicide a drone and blow them all up, but Grace saves Danny at the very last second.
Okay, I only have one note for the scene, and it is that Toxic song by Britney Spears is pretty damn good.
That's true. It's a great song.
I was watching this scene in a car earlier today when I was waiting for Erica to get back from wine testing, and the brewer was playing it in the parking lot, and I was like, I really like this song, and I completely realized
it's a good song.
I realized that I wasn't paying attention to the movie because I was singing along, I was jamming to the song. I was like, okay, cool, and I wrote it down. I was like, it's a good song.
It is a good song.
Yeah. Also, so Tio is with them. It means uncle in English. Wait,
oh,
in
shit.
Spanish.
I thought you were talking about Terrell Owens.
Yeah, no, it's T.O. So he's with them, and maybe he blows up in the drone crashes or something.
Oh, no. He's not with them then.
He left them, or he let.
Yeah, so they all got off the boat. His little assistant dude is the one who actually goes through.
Okay, well, they
Tio
just...
never left the boat.
Yeah, okay. Well, because they never mention... He's never heard from him again. There's absolutely nothing, because they do say one male. There's absolutely nothing with...
No, it was the guy
it's his assistant.
Yeah,
dude.
that was giving them shit about, okay, robots, huh?
Yeah. It's Junior Coyote.
Yeah.
They just totally, throw him away in this movie. It's
yeah.
Yeah, why did all the brown guys die in this movie? Danny's dad.
Terrence.
Danny's brother. Terrence.
Yep.
Fucking...
Junior Coyote.
Junior Coyote. Coyotito.
Coyotito.
Even the one military guy later gets shot up.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if he dies. But
I got a note about that. Yep.
Probably does. Terminator. He's brown. He dies.
It's true.
Hey, that was his choice, okay? He could have been whatever he wanted to be. I don't know why I'm defending the white people now.
What the fuck are you doing, man? All right. Anyway, so everyone is now taken to a detention center in Laredo, with Grace being put in the infirmary from the injuries sustained in the drone crash. As Danny tries to get a border agent to believe her story, the doctors try to figure out what the hell Grace is, and the Terminator infiltrates the detention facility.
My note here is, Fergalicious is not a good song. And it's annoying to have the last song you listen to because it's been stuck in my head all day. So yes.
My note here is that I really like how the Terminator knows to anglicize his pronunciations, because when he goes and asks for Danny, he goes, I'm here to pick up a new detainee, Danny Ramos.
Yeah, once he gets to Texas, he fucking hams it up with the...
He's all in.
Exactly.
He's like, these fucking white people love this shit.
Exactly. He knows his audience.
Yeah.
That's right.
He's like, they're like, yeah, he's one of the good ones. That's what I think about him.
Also, they did a fucking great job on Grace's makeup. Like the scars and like just like every single thing with it. It's and I have something I know there's something in the trivia that says how much work they put into it, but like just because she's got pretty much scars with like any sort of like like not insertion point, but just like wherever they.
I mean, there's scars like everywhere. Yeah, there's lines going like there's big lined scars going down a bunch of different places, basically cutting up her body into segments where it's clear they had to like peel back her body to insert all the different stuff. Like they even on her face, like you can see like under her eyes where they kind of like had to cut around her, probably around her skull. So pretty good, like subtle makeup work. I didn't really notice it until like the third time I watched it.
Yeah, it's like Grace under scalpel.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh wait. Okay, never mind.
I know. I went through the alphabet.
No, I was trying to think of like, like I was like trying to think of like if the only thing I think of is like if this was under the monarchy and she's Grace under Sire. That's all I got. Like, but then like pyre, and I was like, doesn't that just mean fire? I don't know. Then I realized I don't know what pyre means. So,
I mean, she had it bad. She was Grace under dire circumstances. So, I gotta save these and sprinkle them out. So.
Yeah. Very true.
Okay. See, you know what's annoying about this scene? Like the scene before this too is like they didn't tell Danny that she was a thing. So if you think about it, she was really Grace under Liar. Okay, I'm done.
Or they went under the fence. I mean, yeah, it was a fence, but it was still Grace under wire.
Yeah, she was under Grace the wire. Under barbed wire.
Yeah.
No one's gonna get these jokes that's not our age.
Yeah, it's literally just for us. Yep.
There was a sitcom in the 90s starring comedian Brett Butler.
You should have said baseball player. It was actually baseball player Brett Butler.
Yeah, no, she took time off from playing baseball to be a comedian
and then have a TV show.
Anyway,
so. As Sarah tries to break out of the holding area, a federal agent comes to take her to a special cell, seeing as how she's a wanted domestic terrorist. Grace wakes up, takes some medicine, and steals some more clothes to go save Danny, as the Terminator searches for her in the crowd of prisoners.
Okay, so she probably killed that dude whose head she smashed against the wall, I'm assuming.
Almost certainly.
Okay, because she does it pretty hard with just like a big intention, which whatever. Like, it almost made me feel as bad for him as like I think there's a little skinny guy who gets thrown against a pole, like in Terminator 2.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling bad for him too. Like when I saw when I was little, I was like, that guy wasn't doing anything. But then also, Grace calls them. She asks where they take the prisoners. And
so there's a whole thing with this scene, basically. So she gets up and she walks over to where they're like looking at her X-rays because they have noticed that she's clearly not fucking normal. So they're looking at her X-rays and she looks down at them and she's like, I didn't give you permission to look at my private parts. And then she slams the dude's head into a wall. She asks, where do they take the prisoners? The lady answers back, we call them detainees now. And she like steps towards her threateningly. And and then she just tells him where they send the prisoners.
Then she's like slaps shit out of her. But like okay. So I couldn't tell whether or not the writers were like trying to like make some sort of like.
Oh, they were absolutely making a statement. Yeah. Like because with the private parts thing too. Because a lot of sexual assault goes on in those detention centers.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So they're clearly trying to make a statement.
Okay, cool. Like I just caught it when they made it super obvious. Like I don't get the subtle stuff because I'm either drunk or stupid. But right when she says like detainees, I was like, okay, well they're definitely trying to say something here. Which whatever. But like
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's less subtle in places and it just kind of sticks out.
It's nice to get when it is subtle, but. Mm-hmm. It's also nice when they point it out because some people are too stupid. I'm talking about myself because I definitely wouldn't have got that. Like if you would have pointed, if they wouldn't have had that line in there, you would have pointed out like, well, yeah, I would have like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, all right, yeah, okay, cool.
All right. So Grace spots the Terminator, sees that he's looking for Danny, and sets off the fire alarm, which also gives Sarah the opportunity to kick the shit out of that smarmy ass Fed, and. Man, I don't know if it's like Linda Hamilton that I like or just nostalgia, but I really love watching Sarah Connor kick the shit out of cocky cops. It's just fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like watching Sarah Connor kick the shit out of anybody. And I also like
Very true.
cocky cops getting the shit kicked out of them. So
Very
It's
true.
I also thought that guy was going to have a little more of a like. He was
I'm
gonna
kind
be
of
in there a
wondering
little
if that
longer.
guy's got a deleted scene or something.
Yeah, just because like
'Cause
usually
he-
you don't give lines to people. That
Yeah,
happens
he had lines, and he was also like
He's very
really playing it up.
Yeah,
Like in his performance.
maybe
So
he was just
I'm
like, "This is
wondering
my
if he had a
shot.
bigger
This is
role.
my shot." He's like, he like watched Hamilton the night before. He's like, yeah, he's not. I'm not gonna waste this shot, you know. So like,
I feel like this movie
Anyway,
just does that in general. There's a lot more stuff that could be added to it, and the movie's only like 2 hours long, but like there's so much more, I guess, exposition or backstory or other shit that could be said and done that they just don't, and this movie suffers for it.
Yeah. So at this point, the Terminator spots Danny, kills a bunch of Border Patrol agents as Grace and Danny go outside and steal a helicopter.
Once again, meh. Like they all die.
I like his Venom symbiote powers too. Like it.
Yeah,
like,
that was like a good idea, because basically what happens is he's killing his way past individual guards, and then all of a sudden he gets mobbed by like 10 dudes, and he just sits there like shooting little spikes of liquid Terminator out of himself to stab them all.
that was kind of cool.
Was that Venom that happened in?
I
I feel like that happened in something else.
I think that did happen, but that's the first thing I thought of because like he can do that, correct? Like
Yeah, he can do that.
yeah.
Oh,
So
it happened in Terminator Dark Fate.
oh, okay.
Oh shit! I always forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, no one ever talks about it. Like who would spend like more time than the runtime of the actual movie, like talking about this fucking movie?
Yeah, nobody has thought about that movie, or yeah. So Grace in the helicopter tries to ditch Sarah, but Danny won't let her, and they barely get away from the Terminator.
This is another thing where I'm like, I don't know.
What?
Just okay, nothing. Just with the way Danny like it's all of a sudden like, no, I'm not gonna leave her. I'm like, okay, I don't know. It's just like them like not doing a very good job of trying to make it seem like trying to make her into the character that they eventually make her into.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
it's making bad decisions with it. So it's like obviously like jumping out to fucking shoot a Terminator. That's when this person already told you need to survive so that the rest of us can survive. But then like I don't know. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Let's see. The Terminator then goes to sweet talk some other white cops to go try and find his own chopper.
Real quick about what you said. That's the exact same thing that John did in Terminator 2 with saving his mom.
But he didn't hop out of the fucking car when they were driving away just to save someone else. Like
no, I'm saying like it made a lot of sense in Terminator 2 because they're like, we have to go save my mom, and you know, Uncle Bob's like, that's not my mission, but he's like, fuck you, we're gonna do it. In this movie, she's just like, meh, I'll fucking go do it real quick, and you're supposed to like believe like, oh, she's like the savior of mankind.
Yeah, and then I have a note with that like thing you just mentioned, the next one. But go ahead.
That was all I had to say about that. That he sweet talks some cops, and then he goes off to find his own helicopter. Yeah.
So Grace lectures Danny, pretty much saying the exact same thing that Sarah told John after he rescued her from the hospital in the second one. Like I didn't go back and look, but it's pretty much the exact same thing.
It's very similar.
Yeah. Like
it's not
because you see Sarah sitting there and then like kind of thinking about it for a second, and while Danny kind of doesn't look at her, but kind of like I think kind of like went to her like what the fuck, man? And Sarah's like, yeah, she's right.
Yeah.
So
see, it made me think of, remember the episode from The Simpsons, Bart's Comet, where they all get in like the Flanders' bomb shelter, and they're all trying to guess the animal noises. Yeah. And then Homer ends up, or Moe makes the sound of a baby ox, and then Homer leaves, and he's like, he's right, you know. I'm like, what, about the baby ox? About everything, damn it. That's the only thing I thought of in that scene.
You didn't even get like, the parallel with Terminator 2?
Nope. She's right, you know. About what? About everything, damn it.
I only got it the last time I was watching. That's why I really wanted to finish this, because I started seeing more parallels for the Terminator 2 when I was watching this time, but I didn't get a chance to. But yeah, that was definitely, it was pretty much the exact, she tells them the exact same thing. Because I wish I could, like, here, 1 second. What she's telling her is just, it's like, you can't do that. You know how important you are, basically.
You can't do stupid shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you cannot put yourself at risk. He would have killed me. That doesn't matter. When are you gonna get it? Everybody dies if you don't make it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then she's like, and does the same exact thing that John does, like fucking starts pouting, and then Sarah is pretty much like,
Sarah just leans over and is like, no, she's right. Yeah.
About what?
That she can't do that. You shouldn't have come for me and all that stuff, like what Sarah was yelling at John about.
I know, I was setting you up for about everything, damn it.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I got too into it. About everything.
Now the ladies arrive at the coordinates.
Oh, wait. One second.
Oh.
Sorry. A quick thing about when he talks to those Texas Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
He just murdered a shitload of people and he's still walking around without changing himself. Without anyone trying to arrest him. So there's cameras everywhere. Did he kill everybody in there?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, yeah, no, that's a solid point. He just murdered a fuckload of Border Patrol agents.
Yeah, and there was a shitload of people in there. Unless he went around killing everybody. Yeah. Maybe the Terminators just don't know how witnesses work. They're like, I'll be fine. And it changed, but yeah. You think it would at least change to like a white person, because then they definitely wouldn't have suspected him.
Right?
But anyway.
Well, yeah, but he plays it up. Like
yes, he does. He does do it again.
Yeah,
he does.
He's like, he's one of the.
Well,
good
howdy there, fellas.
Yeah.
Also, okay, we didn't mention this earlier, but it's so stupid. But I really like the fucking line where he's going through the metal detector. He's like, that's gonna be beeping because my whole body's a weapon. And the old guy's like, all right, save it for the ladies.
Yeah, save it for the ladies.
I'm just like, all right, that's so stupid, but I don't know why it's all right. I am a child.
This Terminator came with a sense of humor.
Yes. I know
you didn't
now.
Have to learn it.
I now know why you laugh. But it is something I cannot do.
I know now why you giggle. Okay, so they arrive at the coordinates and find a family home in the woods that apparently belongs to Carl of Carl's Draperies. They knock on the door and it opens to reveal Arnold. And Sarah immediately tries to kill him, but is stopped by Grace.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really like that before he answers the door, he's fucking watching football.
Yes. Okay, that's exactly what I was going to say. He's watching a football game when they knock on the door. I wonder if he actually learned to like football, or he's just doing it because, that's what people do.
I think he learned to like football because we find out later he's basically a doomsday prepper. And, I'm pretty sure this version of Arnold's Terminator has a red hat or two in his closet. I'm almost certain.
Yeah.
That's
it was college football too, which is the shitty version of football.
I mean, unless you have an alma mater, right? Then it's super awesome, isn't it? If they're actually good.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway,
but his kid's too young to be in college, and he obviously never went to college.
So he's just a fan of football.
Yep, exactly. But anyway, so it is in fact confirmed. In fact, he confirms it that this is the same Arnold who murdered John. Although he seems much nicer now.
Yeah.
So Sarah stomps away when she realizes they're not going to let her murder anyone, and Danny goes after her to talk. She finds Sarah grieving over John, and then they eventually come back a little more calmly.
First off, Linda Hamilton does a great job in both these
This
scenes.
is such a good fucking acting scene. The one where she's alone in the woods and talking about how she doesn't have a picture of John.
Yes.
That was such a good fucking scene.
And especially when she freaks out when she first sees him too.
Yeah.
But so she doesn't have a picture of him, John.
She says that she thought he would be much harder to find if they didn't know what he looked like.
Okay, so how did the original Terminator find her in the bar? What was it, Club Noir? Did he?
Yes.
So did he recognize her, or because I actually don't remember, or did he not recognize her?
The first one?
Yes, the first one, and then Kyle Reese shot him right away. So I don't actually remember what happens in that bar.
He goes out and kills all the Sarah Connors.
Yeah.
But I believe she calls Ginger.
I see what you're saying.
She tells where she's going to be.
Because he's at her. Okay, so he goes to all the different Sarah Connor's house. He's like, Sarah Connor? Yes. And then blasts her. Then he goes to actual Sarah Connor's house, or actual, not actual, because they're all Sarah Connors.
Sarah Connor Prime.
Linda Hamilton, Sarah Connor. Kills Ginger and her boyfriend, Mike, I believe is his name. And then... can see pictures and shit.
Oh, okay. So we saw the picture. Okay.
Yeah. She calls and is like, I'm at this place called Tech Noir. And then he rolls there and then he knows what she looks like.
Okay, so now he knows what she looks like. Okay, I don't remember that he sees all that stuff. That's why I was like, wait, so how did he see her? How did he know who it was when... But yeah, if he saw her picture, okay.
But that also doesn't make sense here because how would he know what child John Connor looks like? However, how would Terminator Uncle Bob know what child John looks like? But I guess
because
he's the one
programmed by John, right?
Yeah, I want to send him back. But he's like, oh, I had some like hair. I was wearing like a Public Enemy shirt. Just find the kid who's but he
was a real shit back then.
Yeah, he also knows what happens though, so he can be like, no, you went and found me at the.
True.
Yeah, I ran into you at the mall.
At the mall, the Arcada? No.
The Galleria.
The Galleria. Thank you.
He's like, think of like a young Norman Reedus. But...
I'm with this ginger kid with a fucking mullet. What is a mullet?
He's like, I'm with the guy from Salute Your Shorts, and then he shows him Salute Your Shorts.
What is a mullet?
Makes him watch the whole fucking show.
Yeah, just because he likes it.
It's like a flat top, but there's tongue in the back.
The second thought was Grace asks Carl if he's a Terminator, and he asks what she is. So
he says, "May I ask what you are?"
And Grace,
and she says no.
Grace tells him no, and I can't remember. They can see through stuff, right? So okay, so he can see through her, and he's just like,
well, he can see that she's not a human, and not a Terminator.
Okay, so I was just trying to remember if when because he scanned her, so so he can see through her, and he's just like, what the fuck are you, basically? Because I've never seen anything like you. Okay, cool. I was just curious if he's like, okay, yeah, okay.
She's a humanator.
Yeah. It's just I just went to humidor, and she's just like I don't know. Anyway,
there's a bunch of cigars
just,
in her.
Like helps him with the cigars. Yeah, he's like perfect. Anyway,
so back at the house, Carl prepares some Coronas, and then tells the story of his life since killing John, how he was left without a purpose, met his wife Alicia and her son Mateo, and saved them from her abusive husband, and also about how he can sense when a time portal is going to open. So he sends the times and locations to Sarah to help give her life purpose, trying to make up for killing John in some way. This all just makes Sarah way more mad, and she fucking decides to shoot him anyway.
Makes sense to me.
She shoots him 3 times in the chest, and you get one of my favorite lines, which is, "This would be very hard to explain to Alicia."
Right, which I have written down too. And another note real quick. So we already know that they heal and whatnot like real people, right?
Yeah, because they're flesh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious if he heals slower as he gets older, though, like a real person.
Possibly.
And it definitely seems like he bleeds less than a normal person.
Yeah. And also, I'm curious how long the lifespan of a Terminator is, because if that skin is aging, eventually it's like going to be either super gross and like the skeleton underneath is fine, or just like the machine decides to shut off when.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I think that eventually their skin would just kind of fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like slough off.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened with the ones walking out of the ocean.
They just got all gross in the water. Yeah. And it eventually drifted off them, and when they walk out, they're just skeletons.
Oh.
I don't know. Let's see. So then Carl gives a speech about fate and choices and says that he has decided to help them protect Danny. Then his family comes home, so he puts on a shirt to hide his bullet holes and helps them with the groceries. Later on, they're sitting outside, and Carl explains that he has no physical relationship with Alicia, and that his family does not know he is a Terminator. And again, a very good line. He's describing why Alicia is with him, and he goes, "I'm reliable, I'm a good listener, and I'm extremely funny." Okay, which we know to be true, obviously, but it's good to hear him say it.
Okay, so there's a Cracked article that was complaining about this movie. Like, they pointed out that this scene in particular bugged them because of the fact that he's petting a dog, and dogs don't like Terminators.
That's true.
But I really don't understand how they don't get that they're trying to show that, like,
that he's more human.
Exactly, that he's becoming human enough to where the dog trusts him.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, regardless, one way or the other, and that is exactly what I was going to say, that still doesn't make sense, because we don't actually know what makes dogs bark at Terminators. It's not just like having a because like we didn't, like, maybe they could have, no pun intended, thrown us a bone in Terminator 2, once he learned to love or whatever, and there was some dog out there that was like cool with Arnold or whatever, or even fucking Genesis or something. But it was just like this particular scene, like, why is that dog cool with him now? Just because he is not trying to kill humans? Or
I think that's what they were trying to do. But like, I also think you got a good point. Like, maybe like maybe the dogs hate. It's not that the dogs.
Well, it's more than just like the dogs don't hate Terminators just because they're strangers. Like that much is clear.
Yes.
It's like human strangers come in and out of the Resistance all the time, and if that were the case, they couldn't use dogs to root out Terminators. So there's something innate about a Terminator that makes the dogs mad.
Maybe Terminator hearts are like actually like
milk bones.
Yeah, no, like cats like on like wheels or something like that, like where they're spinning. I don't know, like and the dogs
like
are like
hamsters.
Yeah, like
cats?
a hamster wheel, but it's like a cat, and then, like I don't know, that's all I can think of.
That's why Skynet's so powerful. They figured out how to make cats do stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I
was gonna say, if there's a fucking cat in its heart, the Terminators would not go anywhere. Like the Terminators would not turn on. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
I also kind of like that they were subtle enough about this like little thing with the dog and didn't point it out with very poorly inserted dialogue that I think that Genesis probably would have done with like, that's strange. Dogs usually hate Terminators. Like it was just something that was there.
Honestly, I was kind of wondering if Arnold just brought his dog on set and wanted him to be in the shot.
All right, you're not going to let me have a stogie. I'll bring my dog.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this works great because, Terminators hate dogs. He's like, they do? Or dogs hate Terminators. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Batman and Robin? I miss the freeze. I'm smoking a cigar. It all doesn't make sense. Also, I don't believe that it's not a physical relationship because at some point, like, Alicia is going to be like, use your fucking robot hand and turn it into a little vibrator or something. Like, I mean, the girl, like, it's been like 20 years. The girl's got to get something, And as we discussed before on the Genesis episode, there's the boner protocol because if you're an infiltration unit, like, you can't have them with no dick. You gotta like, because that's an easy way to weed out Terminators. Mm-hmm. So you gotta like do that and like show some porn, guy, girl, like whatever, fucking bestiality, something, and that boner's gotta go up. We know he has a dick.
Boner's gotta go up,
and we know he can get a boner, right? There's a boner protocol. So at some point, like she's got to be like, can you help me out here or something?
Can you just lay there at least?
It's like, it just makes me laugh, like, because like the way he would like have sex, because he's not going to enjoy it. So it's like, yes, that is very good. I'm enjoying this too. Yes, please keep riding me.
Would you like me to hit it from behind?
Yeah.
I can rub your clitoris at the same time.
Look at those. What do you call them? Breasts? Look at your mammaries. They're looking very nice. Just take calm titties. Okay.
I love those tighties.
He gets really awkward for some reason. I'm just saying, what if they just have an open relationship?
Yeah, it also makes sense. Back in high school, we had some like old. This was like late 90s, so we're old. There's some like old Mac computers, and they would do like the audio of the name file. So since we're high school boys, we named it like all sorts of dumb shit. But we named one of them, I love big titties in my face. But it was like, I love big tighties in my face. It couldn't say titties for some reason. So that's how I imagine Carl would be in a sexual situation with Elisa. Like, show me them tighties. It's like, no, it's titties. Like, just, I love them tighties.
Like, she's got to know he's a robot. Just with the little stuff. So she's like, I'm just going to ignore the fact that he's a robot. And he doesn't actually know how normal people act.
That would be great if she 100% knows, but hasn't told him that she knows.
Yeah, she probably figured out, like, oh, does that feel good, baby? Affirmative. What?
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
All right. So all four of them form a plan, saying to kill the Terminator, to actually fight and not just run away. And Carl shows them his prepper shed full of guns.
So real quick before that, so they say that they want to use Danny as bait, right?
Basically, that's Sarah's plan.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Let's pick our location, form a kill box, and put Danny there to lure the Terminator.
Okay, so then Grace objects, and then by like jokingly saying, she's like, no, there's no fucking way we're doing this. I will hide her at the bottom of a mine shaft if I have to. And I love that Danny takes that literally. And she's like, I am not going to hide at the bottom of a mine shaft. Like, gets up like, no. That's when she objects.
I would argue that Grace might mean it literally. Like,
yeah, that's
Grace
true,
seems
too.
like she's 100% in like, no, let's cement you up in a fucking dark box at the bottom of the ocean if it'll make you survive the apocalypse. Like,
Yeah.
she's not considering. I don't know. It's such a weird plan that she has. She's not considering the fact that if they don't confront the Terminator,
It's just going to keep chasing him.
it's just going to keep chasing him. Like, what the fuck are you going to do about it? You can't just make her survive past Judgment Day and all of a sudden the problem's solved. The Terminator will still be there. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
So,
yeah. You got then
I don't
it's
know.
just
Anyway.
unless you know someone at NASA and then go to the moon, but do people even go to the moon anymore?
I mean, that's kind of the same energy you get from Terminator 1 and 2. They're not like, let's go fight this Terminator. They try to get away from it.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But if somebody wanted to use Danny as bait for me, I'd totally fall. Because she's hot.
That's why the Terminator's really there. You're just super into Danny.
I don't know why,
Yeah.
but that scene from The Big Lebowski like popped in my head where the dream sequence when he's like dancing towards towards
Julianne Moore.
Yeah, exactly. With Joe doing that as a Terminator, just like, dancing towards it.
Love it. All right. So he pulls them into his shed full of guns. They basically ask him why he has all those guns, and he's like, even if Judgment Day doesn't happen, I still calculate a 74% chance that the human race will descend into barbarism. And then he goes, and also, this is Texas. So that's funny. Next, we see Danny learning how to shoot in preparation for the coming fight. Grace notes that they need something better than all these guns to kill the Terminator. And Carl states that their only real option for that would be an EMP, to which Sarah replies that she has a contact who might be able to get one for them, an Air Force intelligence officer at the Bingham Air Force Base in Texas.
Well, she doesn't state that. She says that.
Yeah, she
and
just says,
then
I might know a guy.
Arnold completes her thought on that,
Yeah.
which is never explained. But
He basically says, like, he basically makes it known that he's been fucking watching her.
Yeah. She says, you've been keeping me under surveillance? And he just goes, yes.
Okay, well, I guess they do explain it, so.
Well, I mean, not well, but they do. They mention it. So Carl tells his family goodbye and that the house is no longer safe. So Alicia and Mateo leave and the team heads out that afternoon. Quick question. Do we know, is her name Alicia or is he just incapable of saying Alicia and keeps saying Alicia?
He can't say it.
I don't know. He says Alicia.
He does say California.
I know that's like a way you can say it. I just don't.
Well, no, that's two different names. Alicia and Alicia are two different names.
I mean, it's the same name. It's the same. It's spelled
I
the same.
mean,
It's the same name.
no.
It's spelled the same.
It's not that.
it's the
There's
same, yeah.
Alicia can be spelled with an E.
No, but yeah, but I mean, it's the same.
That's
Yeah.
more of the Spanish. Alicia is more of the Spanish than
I agree
Alicia.
with that. Yeah. I also like that he gives his iconic line, "I won't be back," to his family. This scene was good. Like
that's one of the ones that bothered me. I was like, you already did the "I'll be back" thing.
Yeah.
I don't see why you need to do it again. It like I get it. They're flipping it a little bit, and he doesn't say it like "I'll be back."
Yeah.
He doesn't say "I won't be back."
Yeah.
He just says
"I
it
won't
at
be
the end of
back."
a sentence.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That one still rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
whatever reason.
I like the setup to that where it's like my past is caught up with me and everything.
Yes.
But then it's like,
Mhm.
I won't be back.
So they set out to leave, but not before Sarah threatens to kill Carl again. Later, we see the Terminator in Carl's house, and he sees a picture of Carl's van, which is what the team is driving in. Later on, we see them at an abandoned warehouse as they are waiting for the Major. Sarah almost vomits listening to Carl tell Danny a story about the finer points of interior design.
That was good.
And I know that's a stupid joke, but that drape story fucking killed me.
It was all improvised too, apparently.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was all
That's
in full
amazing.
singer.
That makes sense, actually. The way that story ends, where he's like,
Yeah.
he wanted a solid color, and I said, no, you must
Don't
have
do it."
balloons,
Yeah.
butterflies. Yeah. Yeah, that killed me.
Yeah, so they made up with the Major and all this stuff happens, but like, this is the frustrating thing about this movie. All right, like, who is this Major? Who is this Major and what does he do? But really, why does Sarah have a relationship with him? Like, did they do some stuff in the past? Does he believe in the Terminators?
I have a note later that's like, I would love a totally different movie that's just Sarah and the Major like hunting down Terminators over time. Like,
Yeah, I had the same exact note.
Here's an easy solution. He's Miles Dyson's wife's brother. Boom.
Sure.
There it is right there. Miles Dyson's wife, Mrs. Dyson, I don't know what the fuck her name is. Sally, we'll call her Sally.
I don't know, it was Mrs.
Yeah. Sally is like, or maybe not brother, nephew, I don't know. Maybe that's fucking Miles Dyson's kid. Who fucking knows? He's in that age.
No, his name's Dean's. I looked because I double checked because I'm like, wait, is this like someone that's important? No, because like apparent, my note is like they did a shit job of setting up the character, but I guess it's not important because he has less screen time than Miles Dyson.
Yeah,
okay,
like a lot less.
Yeah, but they could have set that up. Why he fucking goes and helps her? Why he believes in this? Why he's like, I'll get you on the thing. Like
if he actually believes in it, or if he feels obligated to do it.
Exactly.
But and if so, why the fuck would he feel obligated to do it? Like, yeah.
But yeah, maybe he's trying to take down fucking Skynet and shit from the inside. Like, that's why he's in the fucking army, because he doesn't want like these AI things. Like something. Just give me fucking something. He's just some random fucking dude that somehow hates being around Sarah Connor, but owes her a favor for some reason because of his EMPs. And even after that, after he's fucking shot for this shit, he like gets him on the plane. He's like, I'll delay them for a while to get you guys out of here.
Yeah.
Why?
This is what happens when you have David Goyer writing your movies.
Fucking Goyer, man.
Very true.
Goyer, more like goiter, am I right? Because it's like something you don't want in your movies. On you. Yeah. Anyway.
More like a goyim. Am I right?
Anyway.
Jews. Shalom.
All right. Anyway. So this enigmatic Major shows up and hands over a briefcase with the EMP weapon in it. Grace hears a helicopter coming their way moments before the Terminator breaks the helicopter's like windshield and starts shooting them. The Major gets shot in the gut and everybody jumps in the van and they drive away. And my only note here was, man, black guys who are friends with Sarah Connor cannot catch a break in this franchise. So the van gets away from the helicopter just long enough for the Major to get them access to the Air Force Base, where they commandeer a C-5 cargo plane with the Major's help. There's a little scene here where the Terminator splits up and stuff, but I didn't really mention it because it doesn't amount to anything, really. Like, there's no...
I have a note about that. It's the skeleton by Endo? Yeah.
Yeah, the endoskeleton flies the helicopter.
It's flying the helicopter, and I'm curious if both parts of that Rev 9 have, like, a little bit of a personality. Like, maybe it's like a Mice and Men situation where, like, if so, like the skeleton is probably Lenny. Can you see
Lenny.
The skeleton is definitely Lenny, like to where like the T-1000 parts like fucking George. Yeah, there's no way that like we're to where like the skeleton starts running into shit, and then like you got fucking George, like the T-1000 who's like, dude, come on, like just like, but he's like patient. He's like patient with them, like George is too. He's like, he's like, oh, come on, little guy.
He's a good worker.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know.
I just really like the idea of the endoskeleton getting like stuck behind something and he can't figure out how to get over it. And the Terminator's just like, can you fucking come on, man?
He's like George, I can't figure it out. Like,
yeah. He could just go over there and help him, but he's like, no, he's got to fucking learn. But anyway,
that's why they didn't catch him sooner, because
he's trying to teach him a lesson. He's constantly trying to teach him a lesson. So they commandeer the cargo plane. The helicopter pursues the cargo plane as it's taking off, with Sarah and Carl eventually taking down the chopper, but not before the Terminator gets close enough to jump out and grab the cargo ramp. And my note here is, if the fucking Air Force is not equipped to take down that helicopter as soon as it gets within like a mile of their base, what the fuck are we even, like, how do they not have like anti-air shit or something at that base? Like, how does that helicopter get into their airspace is my question. It just seems fucking stupid.
Bunch of fucking amateurs.
Let's see. Okay, so the Terminator is on the cargo ramp. It gets up and starts fighting. Between Sarah and Carl, they do eventually get rid of the Terminator by throwing Carl's van at him. But Carl reveals that in all the shooting, the EMP got destroyed. So they now have a very small chance of success.
You also see the Rev 9 landing, and man, that steak, I just saw it again, looked fucking good.
Steak does look good.
Yeah, because it was like perfect cross.
Oh yeah,
the cross
grill marks.
The grill marks, yeah, those cross grill marks. I was like, oh man, it looks like a commercial like Applebee's steak because the Applebee's steaks always look good. Then you go to Applebee's and you're like, what the fuck is this?
They were listening to Dwight Yoakam, Guitarist Cadillac, hillbilly music. I would go to that party. Well, that's what they were listening to.
Oh, that's what they were listening to.
Oh, that's what they were listening to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said, did you ever listen to it? I was like, no.
Oh, it's a great song.
Okay.
Yeah. And once again, very polite. He apologizes for crushing the shed.
He does apologize.
So Grace wants to, basically after they find out the EMP is broken, Grace wants to abandon the plan and go back to running. But Danny's not having any of it. We get another future flashback to show that Danny was the one who saved and recruited Grace to the Resistance, with future Danny giving a speech to rally all the humans together into an army. And this is easily my least favorite part of the movie. Natalia Reyes is like a perfectly good actor, but to pull off like the savior of humanity thing, you need an exceptionally charismatic person, and you need, at the bare minimum, good writing. I would say borderline great writing. If you want to have a scene like this where she makes a rallying speech to get everybody to come together. But this speech is just kind of lame, and it has the opposite effect where it just looks really stupid because the writing is so bad.
Or they do it in like Terminator 1 and 2, and where John says nothing. He just looks menacing.
That's the other thing, is there's no reason to cut to the future and show like future
you can just
Danny.
mention it. That's true.
It could just be Grace giving her little speech without cutting to the future. There's no fucking point to it.
But then again, if I saw her and she's like, we got to work together. But yeah, all right. I mean, my wife died.
I will kill as many robots as you want me to.
Yeah, I'm single now. I'm sorry, Laura. You died in, the apocalypse. I got to move on with my life. All right, we got to recreate humanity. So
like, I'm not dead, but she's still here.
Yeah, but you will be soon, hon. I love you. You're gonna be the bait. All right. We got to recreate humanity. Like, what am I supposed to do? All right.
Yeah, come on.
Just kidding. I love you, Laura. I would die with you in the apocalypse.
If she doesn't kill you before then. So this scene right here is where the writing for this character just starts fucking failing for me. Like, it makes me like, this just made me remember that it's a movie, the complete 180 where she's like, what if matters is the choices we make now? And then like Grace is like, oh, I've heard this before. Okay, so I didn't finish my notes before watching the movie and finishing my notes. So, because I know it got worse, because I remember the last time I watched this with Erica, by the end I was like, dude, this character, and I know it was something with her fighting the Terminator later, but it was like, this character is so badly written, but it doesn't happen until like this part of the movie.
Yeah.
And I think what happened was, so I was thinking about it, which is also why I only got to this part, because I started writing a bunch of notes. But all the other characters start off pretty much badass. And her character starts off like a little bit less like a less meek, like stronger version of Sarah from the first movie. Mm-hmm. But then has pretty much the same arc, like character arc, that Sarah has going into Terminator 2, but without the 8-year difference, mm-hmm. or 5-year difference, or 7-year, whatever it is. Because at least in the first movie, like, Sarah's pretty much the same person at the end of it, and shows like a hint of what you're going to see in Terminator 2. But
you saw that shit in Terminator 2.
Yes, exactly. So it's more believable that she is a complete badass, because you have those, like, what was it, 8 years, 7 years, something like that. It was 84 to 91. I don't know, math.
It was 11 years. I mean,
because it was 95, right?
Yeah, it was 11 years, because
movie-wise, it was 11 years.
So it would have made it like less. It would have made that less believable if it happened in Terminator 1, like in the first Terminator. If all of a sudden at the end she's like, "Fuck this Terminator, let's kill it," instead of being like fucking terrified of it the whole time, because it's a fucking Terminator. Yeah. It's something you've never seen before. You didn't know this shit existed. Secondly, like, the fact that they didn't age her at all in the future Danny, which is, it's just a nitpicking, but it's like, it just made it kind of like another reason where I was like, ugh, like, they didn't bother to change her at all, except for giving her fucking cornrows or something to show her she's fucking badass now.
Yeah, I didn't. That bothered the shit out of me, and it shouldn't, because it's just a hairstyle. But it's such a weird choice. It totally took me out of it.
Yeah, and we have black don't crack and Asian don't raisin, but we don't have brown don't brown. Like
that's what it is.
Like we don't. Like white people, we age. I guess brown people do too. I don't know.
I mean, slower than white people for sure, but
Yeah.
Sure.
But then, like, again, Linda Hamilton with T2, Linda Hamilton worked her fucking ass off to get in like crazy shape to like sell the idea that Sarah's a fucking soldier now.
Yeah.
And it made like a super drastic change from where she came from in the first movie.
They got rid of the curly hair and they gave her a ponytail.
Exactly. And with that, you were like, holy shit, she's fucking like
ponytail business.
She means
yeah.
business.
She's straightening her hair now, like or I don't know how shit works.
Not
with hair.
well, it was the 80s, so not curling.
Okay,
Yeah.
so not like blowing out her hair or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like for this one, they just hey throw some fucking dirt on her face and let's put her in some military surplus clothes. Like it's just a complete 180, and I don't know, like and it bugged me from here on because all of a sudden the character switches. Like once Grace mentions that she was the savior, there's just I don't like the way the payoff for that, and it was bugging me at first. Like it was annoying me that I was bugged by it because of how the fucking guy.
Douchebag?
Yes, incels were with this movie to where like fucking women. I was like, nah. It was because the writing didn't set her up correctly.
Yeah, I also feel like they were probably way more mad at like the Grace character. Like my guess is that they were way more mad at the Grace character
for sure. But like I also was like those two characters, the other two characters are fine. Like Grace and Sarah are written fine. It's just and she was written fine, but they just the switch with this was just it was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong. Like if you're taking Terminator 1 and 2 as like the canon, like the only Terminator movies that matter, like it's basically the Sarah Connor story. Like it's about her being a badass. So any sort of like criticism about like, oh, they're trying to make women tough, like bitch, if you watch the fucking first two movies, so that whole argument is bullshit. However, it's not what they like the idea that they did in this movie, it's how they did it.
Like the execution.
Because they fucking did a terrible job. It has nothing to do with the fact that Danny's a woman or anything. It's just they did a fucking dog shit job. Like, you can do a dog shit job at about anything. It's still a dog shit job.
If they would have done the same thing that they would have done with like the first Terminator, it would have worked. Where like at the end, she kind of like you see it at the very end, to where she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like growing like pretty much how the end of the movie ends." To where she's like, I've been hanging out with Grace, I'm fucking getting my fucking, I've been going to boxing classes. I've been doing this. I don't know what, I didn't watch the end again. Like, so is that how it ends? Probably.
Yeah.
But they were acting like there's not going to be another movie, basically.
Yeah.
They shoehorned it, like they forced it in there. And like, it made me appreciate the way James Cameron did it, I guess. It didn't seem as forced, but maybe that was because so much time had passed.
Yeah, they just didn't need the scene of her in the future.
And there are other bad parts of it too.
Oh, there's plenty of other bad parts. But if they would have just cut that out, then it would have been like more believable, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, this is easily my least favorite scene in the movie.
But then if you don't have this scene in the movie, all of a sudden, like if you... I don't know, because again, I didn't watch past the scene. So like this character changes after this, right? Going forward in this, like not in flashbacks, but in this, right? Because she's pretty much like a badass now.
I mean, she's not a badass. She's still in the background. But she
finished
changes in that she changes in that it seems like she has gained a bit of confidence.
Yeah.
And I do think that is unearned confidence.
Yes.
Because nothing has changed at this point. She finding out that you're the savior of humanity does not
just get like big chest, like, yeah, fuck you.
It just doesn't. That's not how it works. Like I said, the thing that bothers me about this is that they didn't need to go to the future. Because you could have just had Grace give her little speech about how, like again, that voiceover is already there at the end of the flashback. You could have just had that be the scene. There's just no. It's so jarring to see her in the future.
Especially that she looks exactly the same. Just that was the thing that threw me off the most.
And it doesn't work because if you're going to show that, you have to concretely show me why she is the leader of humanity, like the leader of the resistance. And that flashback does nothing to do that. It doesn't, the speech is lame. She doesn't look all that intimidating or anything like that.
But
she doesn't look that inspiring. I just like...
But she's hot though.
Yeah. Or maybe she like had a gun, like, and she's like, listen to me, motherfuckers. Like, you're gonna fucking listen to everything I do. And then I'll be like, okay, well, that makes sense because she has a gun and they don't. Like, it's like that Futurama thing. He's like, you don't need courage when you have a gun. I was like, okay, you got a point. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this scene's a piece of shit. So like we've been talking about, it's revealed here that Dani is not the mother of humanity's savior, but she is humanity's savior. Again, I just don't understand what the point was. What the point was of trying to make that a reveal. It seemed very clear to me from the very beginning. But around this time, a refueling jet shows up. It becomes apparent pretty quickly that it's actually the Terminator, who has killed the refueling jet's crew.
Real quick, also, Grace gives that no fate line, too.
Oh, yeah, she does. There is no fate but what we make for ourselves, is what she says.
And then Sarah gets half a chub.
Yeah, which was actually a cutscene from the first movie.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That she got half a chub?
Yes. No, Reese saying there's no fate but what we make. That's why John says it in the second movie.
Oh, I thought... Really?
So, all my stuff about the closed time loop and everything is technically still true, because that scene was deleted. But the idea of that was that there is no fate but what we make, so technically our future is not set. But without that scene, T1 is a closed time loop. But I guess with that scene and the addition of Terminator 2, it is not a closed time loop. But yes, that's why, I mean, it's not mentioned in the first one, but
yeah,
John mentions that Kyle said that to his mom.
Also, I'm really curious if how Dani's mom died now, because like my first thought after watching it was like, oh shit, Terminator got to her. But that was but that was me like thinking like I'm like and it's probably super unlikely. But anyway,
also why are they called Terminators? Like Terminator seems like a registered trademark of Skynet. Why is Legion...
Are they called Terminators? I mean, Grace only ever calls them Rev 9s.
She calls them Rev 9s. But
wait, she doesn't.
I don't think she says Terminator once.
No, she calls them Rev 9 the whole time.
Really?
Are they actually called Terminators in the other one? Or is it just like the nickname, like, oh shit, fucking Terminator?
Well, I don't remember.
Yeah, they're called Terminators.
Okay.
Wait, Grace doesn't say Terminator?
No, she calls it Rev 9 the whole time.
No. Yeah. She always says Rev 9.
I think.
Okay.
Now you got me questioning
it's
myself.
just like... I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to be wrong. Yeah. But, so the refueling jet shows up. The Terminator is driving it. He basically slams his jet into the cargo plane as the team tries to go get into the Humvee that's in the back so that they can parachute to the ground in it. The Terminator, as his plane is basically falling apart and falling, he jumps onto the cargo plane, and Grace turns on the autopilot, but the damage already done to their plane kind of causes it to go into free fall. So there's this scene where they're all in the cargo hold trying to get into the Humvee and get it out of the plane, and they're all kind of in, like, not quite zero gravity, but like light gravity, because they're all in free fall. Let's see. Oh, the Terminator is making his way into the cargo hold. Arnold is kind of fighting off the Terminator while everyone else is trying to get the Humvee out of the plane. I'm speeding through this action scene because there's just a lot of it.
Yeah, there is.
And I did not particularly like this action scene because it's super noisy.
Everywhere, too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of cutting.
It's a lot of cutting, and there's just a lot going on visually. Like, way too much.
Yeah, because like I was trying to write notes for this, and then like I was like, what am I, like, the plane falls in the water. They finally escape. Exactly. Plane blows up. But also, do you guys think that like if Robert Patrick's Terry 1000 like was around, he'd be like, this guy's pretty good. Like, oh yeah, I appreciate you. And then they'd like be bros, like, bro, yeah, running into the, like, diving into the plane. that was pretty good. And he's like,
yep. Game, respect game, as it were.
Yeah, I appreciate your persistence.
Let's see. So, yeah, Arnold is fighting the Terminator. Everybody else gets the Humvee out of the plane. The Humvee is now falling with Grace hanging onto the outside.
It's so fucking dark.
Yeah, really.
Sorry, I have no more notes, so I'm just watching the movie now.
So Grace is hanging onto the outside of the Humvee. She is releasing the various parachutes that are on the car to slow their descent. Meanwhile, Carl and the split-up Terminator are free-falling, and everyone is headed towards a dam. The dam workers see all the plane wreckage headed their way and evacuate, and this is the part that really pissed me off with the darkness, because if you, like, I accept the darkness to a point, because if you think it looks realistic or whatever, fine. But this is a work site on top of a dam.
Yeah.
All these dudes are wearing reflector vests and construction hats, and you're telling me they don't have any fucking spotlights or floodlights or anything to light up the fucking dam, but it is so fucking dark the entire time. Anyway, that bothered me so much. Carl lands in the reservoir, still fighting with Bone Storm, while the Humvee lands on the edge of the dam.
You could definitely tell, dude, that skeleton is totally Lenny because it is missing the back of its skull and the inside part of its skull. So, like,
it's already got brain damage.
Yeah, that thing is like, I think that's how it is, but that thing is totally Lenny. But anyway, that's my last note, by the
way. Let's see. So the Humvee lands on the edge of the dam and slowly starts going over the side. It slips off and eventually is only held up by the parachute straps. And it's hanging over like the bad side of the dam. That's actually the big drop. The liquid Terminator eventually catches up with Jack Skellington, and together they rip Carl's left forearm off before more falling debris separates Carl and them.
He always loses that arm.
Yep. Grace sees that the Terminator has gotten out of the water and has found them again, and so she decides that she will do the only logical thing, which is to cut the parachute straps and fall to their deaths. I also really like this line from Sarah here when she realizes what Grace is going to do, and Grace tells her to strap in, and she's like, right, otherwise it could be dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Grace got lucky she went back into the cab, because imagine if the Humvee landed on her. She would have been Grace under tires.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Oh, I've been saving that one for like the past hour.
So the
holding his load.
It's been edging for the last hour while we talk about bullshit.
Delayed gratification.
The Humvee. God damn it! I was about to make a tantric sex joke, and I was like, "Oh wait, that's not Paul Simon, that's Sting." But whatever.
Yeah. Real quick, I had a couple notes from before
Sure.
All this stuff happened. Hopefully, I mean, obviously not, but hopefully, post-apocalyptic world, there is still some nerd hackers that survived because they'd be able to build a virus. Because apparently, Legion is all internet type shit. Like eventually, you'd have to build something in order to like take them down. But then again, all the nerds would have probably died.
Yeah, probably
because they're nerds.
Yes.
Okay.
Also, okay. So at some point, Danny's like, "No, this is where we make our stand." Well, I don't know why she has an Arnold accent. Whatever. But like, why now? Like, you have a fucking Terminator. You know what would kill this other Terminator. Take fucking Arnie. Have him go break into a military complex because he's a fucking Terminator and go steal another EMP. Boom. Take him out that way. Why does it have to be now? I understand not wanting to run, but the plan he had got fucked up. So, go make another plan. I don't know, take a week. Take a couple days. Go fucking do something. Get a hat. Wear a fucking hat and walk around with a hat. Get a mask or something. Do something to block your face so you're not in everything. And just go, like, think of a fucking better goddamn plan than just be like, oh, we're going to make the kill box now, bro. We're going to fucking do this.
Is that when they get out of the water and she...
Yeah, that's in a few minutes. But
it is.
There's so much happening. It's hard.
There was also a lot of other times
they
could have made a better plan.
Yeah, definitely. They also still have the 2 EMP things. Like, there are bullet holes in them. But, like, I feel like if you let Arnold crack one of those open, he could probably reverse engineer that thing pretty quickly and fix the other one.
Also, Grace, like messed with the cell phone to where she might be able to fix
she
it
did
too.
Future shit. Like, why can't she fix the EMP? I don't know. That seemed like it was like they gave up on those extremely quickly. Maybe because they were, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was just like a wasted plot point, I guess.
Yeah,
like, it just seems like it
could have not had that whole
plot point.
Movie
exactly.
20 minutes shorter, sort of thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
And basically,
and saved us all that major bullshit. Like, yeah,
nice pun. Also, as we mentioned, how shitty of a character Danny is. She's basically just a fucking MacGuffin, right? Like that's
kind of
her only thing in this.
Yeah. Her role is to be the bait in the film. Like, it's not like she teaches humanity to Grace and Sarah. That's not that doesn't happen. They eventually are okay with each other, but it's not really because of Danny.
Yeah.
I guess they slightly bond over Danny, but still, that doesn't make a character. That makes a plot point. So the Humvee falls with Sarah and Danny inside and gets swept to the bottom of the river, while Grace tries and fails to hold off the Terminator. When the Terminator eventually does find the Humvee in the river, which seems very fucking hard, in the middle of all that rushing water in the dark. I mean, I get that he's a Terminator, but that still seems very hard to get to the car. But anyway, when he gets to the Humvee, Sarah forms a plan to tangle him up in a parachute while they swim past, which does work. Danny and Sarah swim to the shore, where they also find Grace, and they all head to the dam entrance. They find the entrance, but the door is locked, and Grace is too tapped out to break it open. Grace tells Danny to run, but she won't. So instead, Grace tells them they need to extract her power cell, even though it will kill her, as it's the only thing left that can kill the Terminator, because it will also generate an EMP.
Okay.
What?
Oh, nothing. They're like, this worked in Terminator 3. We can make it work again.
Yeah. Before they have the chance to slice her open, though, Carl makes it out of the water and jumps down to where they are.
And his leg is fucked up.
Oh, yeah, it is. Although... So he even has some medicine for Grace, although as this movie has gone on, I have started to suspect that those are just some kind of amphetamine and not so much medicine.
Yeah, it would work for me.
And we also get a good line here when he gets down to the bottom of the dam, looks at Grace and goes, "You look terrible."
So is this fucking like medicine for Grace even needed in this movie? Because like in reality, like it doesn't really cause any problems. I guess a little bit of like shit with Sarah,
I mean,
like lets them sit back, but like it's such like a there's so many convenient plot points with it, with when they're in the fuck it, let's call it the border prison camp, because really that's what it is.
Like detainee. I'm sorry, detainee camp.
All right, racist. Like, ooh, nice buddy search, fellas. Like, oh, she's able to get it there, or like Sarah just guesses.
Yeah, I did not see the point of that at all.
Sarah just guesses like how much she needs, and then fucking Carl comes down with like her meds and everything. Like, oh, she's back. Like,
oh, if you just kept her like if you just kept her like going the whole time,
normal. Yeah.
I feel like if she was fully powered throughout the movie, they wouldn't have to run. Because she absolutely does
like match up with him,
fight the Terminator well.
True.
When she's at full power. If she didn't run out of steam, there would be no reason for them to run. Especially once she teams up with other people. Like once Sarah and Carl are there.
Yeah.
If she could just run at full steam all the time without having to worry about it, there's no reason they couldn't beat that thing pretty handily.
True.
Fair enough.
Also, Medicine for Grace sounds like an emo band.
Very much so.
That's the first time we just said it. I've been waiting to say it. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh my god. So
wow. Yeah, that's
man, take that back to 2003 and make some money.
Exactly.
You don't have to be good. It's not like bands were good.
That's true. They were all terrible.
We're Medicine for Grace. This is Step to My Heart.
Okay, so Carl breaks the door open and they enter the dam just as the Terminator locates them. They decide that they're going to make their stand in the dam. Grace grabs a chain and Carl grabs a big heavy thing. The Terminator comes in and attacks. So you guys mentioned earlier, he kind of makes a little speech here. He like tries to reason with a couple of them. I didn't mention it because it's really fucking stupid.
The Terminator does? Oh, give me the girl. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. He's give me the girl, and then he asks. He tries to reason with Arnold. He's like, "You and I are alike. We should be on the same side." And then he turns to Sarah and is like, "Why do you even care about her?" And it's all very pointless.
Yeah, just go fucking kill her, bro. Just run directly towards her. Fucking knife hand her right in the face. Yeah. Call it a day.
Fucking venom stab them as you're running past.
Exactly.
It's very simple.
Just fucking do it. Go home, drink a beer. I don't know. What do robots do? Stick a battery up your ass. I don't know. I don't care.
No, we find out after a few years they drink Corona.
Maybe he's like had a character or story arc too. Like he's wants to be a pacifist now. He's like
he's just like a fighting monk. Really.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, I don't want to do this, but I have to.
He really is the hero in this. Holy shit.
So he eventually attacks, but between Sarah, Grace, and Carl, they manage to pin him down and eventually throw him into a turbine, which then explodes. So the fight scene here is decent. It's okay. It's like Grace has that chain thing that she's whipping around, like doing some sweet martial arts stuff with it. That's fine. Carl's just hitting him with a club.
Yeah, except when Carl just like throws him. Like, you have him in your hand. Punch him. Fucking punch him. Why throw him away where he's closer to
The last
Danny?
time he punched him, his hand skin got stripped off.
Okay, stomp on his fucking head. Do something. Don't just fucking throw him around. You're a fucking killbot. Like, don't just throw people around. That doesn't kill people. I mean, it can, but just fucking kill them really quick. Or
but
just,
not Terminators.
Yeah, I just like this whole fucking everybody throws everybody around in a battle.
Like, I don't know the whole thing with, because I'm watching it right now. The whole thing when Grace is cutting the T-1000 part of it apart is kind of cool. But minus,
I think that part looks cool.
Yeah, like when she's cutting him up with the chain.
Yeah, that part looks sweet.
I mean, she's having trouble with it because she got fucking stabbed.
Yeah, but anyway, eventually they throw him into the turbine.
It's also fucking pointless because it just pulls itself together again too.
Yeah,
but yeah, into the turbine.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do. They go into the turbine, which then eventually explodes. Danny finds Grace in the debris, but she's in terrible shape. And worse, Sarah finds that the Terminator is not dead yet. Grace tells Danny to take her power cell as the melting Terminator knocks out Sarah and limps over toward them. Danny doesn't want to do it, but eventually works up the strength to get all up in there. She takes the power source and fights off the Terminator with like the shotgun and hits him a few times with the gun. But she can't quite make the killing blow, and the power cell is knocked out of her hand eventually. Sarah wakes up to see Danny struggling, and she screams at Carl to wake up and help, which he eventually does.
She's like, Danny, get down!
Yeah, I've been waiting for that this entire fucking movie.
That's what happens when I don't have anything written down. I just go back to old shit.
So he eventually does wake up, but only when Sarah says his name.
And then he starts beating on poor George. Poor George?
It's George and Lenny at this point.
No,
right?
it's just George. Poor guy.
Oh, Lenny, you mean?
Or sorry, it's just Lenny. Sorry.
Yeah, it is just Lenny at this point. I
Lenny.
forgot.
He's like, I just want to go home, and like
the rabbits.
Dude, I'm totally turning into a Lenny. Like, we had a bar the other night, and there was a couple dogs, and like this one little corgi was very excited. And I just like got down there on the ground. I was just like, "Urgh!" Just like attacking it. Like with pets. And afterwards, I'm like, oh my god, that dog. I just want to like grab it and like fucking squeeze it. I'm like, oh shit. I just turned into fucking Lenny, didn't I?
I just turned into fucking Elmira, and that is one step short of Lenny.
Yeah. That's so cute, though.
I just want to break its little neck. So anyway, Carl wakes up. He starts fighting the Terminator again. This gives Danny the opportunity, and she stabs the power cell into the Terminator's eye.
Okay, real quick. So the T-1000 part of this is gone now, right?
It seems like it.
Okay.
It seems like it's all
melted
fucked
away.
up and melted away.
Yeah, okay.
Carl then drags himself and the Terminator down into a pit and holds it there until the power cell eventually explodes, as Danny and Sarah watch from above. Before he dies, Carl looks at Sarah and says, "For John," and then I sob like a little girl.
You know what's sad is this one, I think that For John thing didn't work as well as the one from Genesis, which...
Yeah, I was joking. That actually didn't hit me that hard.
It was fine, but it's like, at this point you can always expect him to say something at the end.
Exactly.
And then the Genesis one didn't work as well as the, which I'm going to cry now from the one from Terminator 2.
Yeah, definitely.
But like...
I mean, I don't think anything's ever going to match up to Terminator 2. But
could that be because Genesis is a better written movie?
No, it was just that end. Like they shouldn't have tried to like have him say something at the end. I don't know. Like just like he wasn't really connected to with as far as Genesis, he was actually connected to the Sarah character in that. So like when he say like take care of my Sarah, but he's like that was actually like fucking sad because I don't know. It's like his daughter, but like
I mean, he says it earlier. Is like. With Mateo, like I realized what I had taken from you.
They did set it up, yeah.
Yeah.
They set it up because, and I probably forgot to mention this, in the text messages that Sarah gets that let her know when the Terminators are going to show up, they always end with "For John."
Yeah.
and it's something that he's been saying to her for years to try and give her purpose and help her sort of get over and grieve for John, because like Joe just said,
yeah, they actually say forge on because it's after he killed the T-1000 in Terminator 2. He's really about like metal forges, so that's what actually he's saying.
Well, that makes it that kind of connects.
It's like if you want to kill more Terminators, like you gotta go to different
keep
forges.
the forge running.
That connects the forge a little better too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, it's like the forge on. It's fine. They set it up and they pay it off, and it makes a decent amount of sense. But it doesn't hit as hard. I don't know.
It would have been great if she would have spit on him. She's like, she's like, "Fuck you! You killed my kid." Yeah. She just like throws a bag of piss that she's.
Why would she have a bag of it?
Because she's a fucking crazy.
It's like, why don't you pee in pickle jars like us normal people? It's like, nope, I pee in a bag, all right?
That's what the other potato chip bags are for.
Bag of piss.
She's just been
it's not even a Ziploc bag, it's just a
like
potato chip bag. It's all twisted up.
Yeah. Like rolled chip clip on it.
Chip clip.
When they didn't let her shoot him at the at his house, she's like, she's like, all right, fuck, I'm gonna get this motherfucker eventually. And she's in the bathroom, like about to go pee. She's like, oh fuck, because she's crazy. She's like, pisses in the bag and then saves it. She's like, I'm gonna get him eventually. But then she felt bad and she's like, she just throws the bag of piss down on him. I don't know. It's like,
why a bag?
Anyway.
So later, Danny and Sarah are creeping on young Grace in the present before driving off together to commit many, many acts of domestic terrorism. And then we get the credits, and we get... Was this before the recording? I don't remember. But at this point, we get a very soulful flamenco rendition of the Terminator theme.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do? Yes?
Okay, and that's pretty much the movie. So at this point, we move on to America's favorite segment, Joe Namath. Joe, take it away.
All right, so I'm not going to lie, there were a fuckload of names, and a lot of them had... like accents on them, or Mexican umlauts, as we like to call them. So I didn't get into too many, but we got a first assistant sound editor whose name is Skip Longfellow, which that's just a weird name.
Solid name.
There's a second car rigging grip named Stephen Curry, but it's with the PH, so it's Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, but with an IE, so different Curry spelling. There's a set director or decorator named Nimrod Hadju.
What?
Yes, his name is literally Nimrod. There was a fuckload of Laszlos and like double-digit Laszlos.
Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, there was...
I don't know that I've ever seen a Laszlo.
Yeah,
I like that name though.
It's pretty great.
Laszlo, what are you doing? Anyway. Anyway.
So this one I think was a misprint, but that's how they put it. Somebody used stunts. It was Jose Joan Ramos, but like the way they set it up, it looked like one name. So I had to go back and look at him like, am I just fucking stupid and looking at this wrong? But no, it literally said Jose Joan Ramos. So whatever. And lastly, so there's that Simpsons episode where Marge starts working at the power plant, and Homer's showing her the way. She's like, "Hey, and Homer's like, if you do anything wrong, just blame it on the foreign guy, Tibor." And then later on, Smithers is like, "Oh, we got to use a credit card because that idiot Tibor lost the key." But I counted at least 6 Tibors. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a real name. I've never.
Is that first name?
Yes, I've literally never seen a Tibor in my life. But there was at least 6 Tibors that worked on this movie.
How do you spell that?
Is this
Tibor? Just Tibor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
A lot of Laszlos, a lot of Tibors.
Okay.
Last, he worked on some other stuff before, but there's a playback technologist named Steve Irwin. So,
Wow.
R.I.P.
Came back from the dead.
Good for him. Just to be a what? A technologist?
A playback technologist.
Oh,
Very
okay.
specific.
Oh.
He's keeping it low key.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks for listening. We'll be back.
Wait, no, we need an outro for this episode.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm doing. Is this not an outro?
All right, I guess we'll be back.
Yep.
You got it.
Well, sorry. Bye.